Meet Bob, the not-so-proud owner of a card mansion. Bob's luxurious mansion has been overrun by pesky ducks. Bob has tried almost everything to get rid of the ducks, from extermination to bribes. However, Bob has been unable to declare victory in his wars against the stubborn ducks. Bob's last-ditch effort is to hire 2 physics students to demolish his mansion, and hopefully take the ducks down in the process.
To start us off, let's take a look at the magnificent machine Bob has commissioned us to create. We begin with a screw, our first simple machine. A small metal ball is dropped into our screw mechanism, which is caged in to ensure the ball follows the correct path down the screw. The ball gains a small amount of momentum during this process.
The metal ball exits the screw and is deposited into our second simple machine, the inclined plane. The inclined plane allows the ball to rapidly accelerate, gaining a large amount of kinetic energy for its next endeavor.
At the bottom of the inclined plane, the small metal ball rams into the wedge, our third simple machine. All energy is transferred into the wedge, which wedges between the ground and a block. This pushes the block upwards at an angle of approximately 12 degrees above the horizontal.
The block is held in place by a guide rail system and is only able to move in a vertical direction. Therefore, the block moves upwards and strikes the underside of an 8-ball from the hit game known as pool.
The block is not great at pool, so it cheats. The 8-ball is also on a guide rail, ensuring that it will go straight where the block desires. Silly block.
The 8-ball is struck off its sitting position down the second inclined plane, our fourth simple machine. This gives the 8-ball a chance to convert enough gravitational potential energy to kinetic energy to have the ability to knock over the tissue box.
The tissue box functions as a Class 3 lever, our fifth simple machine. Being struck low, only 0.9 inches from its fulcrum, the bottom. The tissue box is about 6 inches tall, so that is some massive mechanical advantage. About 6.7 to be exact. The tissue box tilts and falls over and off the table, pulling on a string attached to the pulley.
Since Bob has decided that child labor was the cheapest option when hiring contractors to build his destruction machine, quality is at an all-time low. Unfortunately, the hired children didn't realize they simply could have had the tissue box fall on and demolish his house. However, they did come up with a long and unnecessary detour in the route to demolition.
The pulley, our sixth simple machine, receives a strong and fast downwards force and therefore outputs a swift yet strong upwards force on the Class 2 lever.
The Class 2 lever, our seventh simple machine, is yanked upwards, taking the Class 3 lever with it. This action has a mechanical advantage of about 0.5.
The Class 3 lever, our eighth simple machine, is almost instantaneously raised. This applies its own almost instantaneous force to the Class 1 lever, pushing one side upwards with a mechanical advantage of about 2.
The Class 1 lever, our ninth simple machine, reverses the direction of force. The input force from the Class 3 lever is turned upside down and applies a downward force on a string attached to the wheel and axle, performing this action with a mechanical advantage of approximately 1.
The wheel and axle is our 10th and final simple machine. It receives a turning force on the part with the smaller radius, which turns the larger radius part with a mechanical advantage of 2. The larger part has a string coiled in the opposite direction of the small part's string, so it enacts a pulling force on the string.
Said string is attached to the foundation of Bob's card mansion. The original builders decided it would be a good idea to build Bob's mansion on top of cardboard instead of the ground. The child laborers have decided the best course of action is to have the cardboard foundation roughly jerked in order to simulate an earthquake, causing the mansion to crumble, taking the mighty ducks down with it.
Now let's see this in action.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Wow, that was pretty epic.
Let's take a look from a different angle.
Ready?
Both of those happen pretty fast.
Let's slow it down and take one last look. After those 3 destructions, it's safe to say that Bob can finally declare victory.
Now let's take a look at some of our bloopers.
Wow, that was pretty epic. You didn't say part.
Another one. Another one.
No?
Mm-hmm.